Okay, it's time now for Media Watch, and for that I'm joined here in the studio by Emma James. Now, Emma, you've been looking at the latest PR problem for one rather outspoken French politician.
Yes, of course, it is the left-wing politician Jean-Luc Melenchon, who's having rather a busy week, really, living up certainly to the party's name, La France Insoumise, or sometimes translated as English as Unsubmissive France. Now, earlier on this week, he declared himself the Republic, but he wasn't speaking for the whole of France when he decided to mock a journalist for her southern accent. Take a look at this clip.
Et alors, qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? Qu'est-ce que ça veut dire? C'est quoi votre question, madame? Je ne comprends pas ce que vous dites. Non, non, madame, vous ne savez pas de quoi vous parlez. Non, vous dites n'importe quoi. Quelqu'un a-t-il une question formulée en français et à peu près compréhensible? Parce que moi, à votre niveau...
So as you can see there, he was certainly belittling her as well as imitating the sort of slightly different vowel sounds at the end of words that southern French people tend to use. Of course, she comes from Toulouse, but he is the MP for Marseille, and a lot of people feel that it was very inappropriate for him to be attacking southern accents because of that very reason. This gentleman, a journalist, asking whether or not it was actually the question that was really what upset Jean-Luc Melenchon, rather than the accent in which it was posed, and I think possibly they have a very good point there. This gentleman asking, saying really that Mélenchon should pick up his stuff and get out of there, meaning Marseille, of course. What a shame you are so arrogant, he says, and you made Marseille your fiefdom, your territory. Because, of course, he's not actually from Marseille himself. He's just gone there in order to find himself a political position. This person saying, I'm bad at geography, but wasn't it Marseille that elected him? Proof again of his contempt for the citizens who voted for him. So these remarks from him not going down well at all. LCI, the French news channel, pointing out that actually the southern accent, or southwest accent in particular, has actually been voted the most sexy in France in the past. Admittedly, they have had to rummage about going back to 2013 for that particular survey. But it's interesting to see that some really are seizing the political initiative with this one, because the hashtag glottophobia, a wonderful word, has been trending all day. There isn't really an English equivalent. As the headline here in the Telegraph says, a French MP is tabling a bill to outlaw glottophobia, discrimination against regional accents. Now, the MP in question is this lady, Laetitia Avia. She is a member of the Republic on the Move party of Emmanuel Macron. And she has tweeted this today saying, must we suffer humiliation if we don't speak standard French? Because our accents are our identity. I am tabling a bill to recognise glottophobia as a source of discrimination. Now, she says she's experienced it firsthand. She comes from the banlieue. She was brought up in Seine-Saint-Denis in the north of Paris. And she said when she went to university at Sciences Po, certainly rather a well-thought-of university, let's put it that way here in France, she felt she had to lose her accent, and she feels that people shouldn't be pressured into doing that. Interestingly, Jean-Luc Melenchon today, the Huffington Post perhaps rather generously calling it an apology to that particular journalist whom he criticised for her accent. It wasn't much of an apology. It was a very combative statement in which he said, I thought she was mocking me.
Now, from politics to art, one French artist has turned mourning a pet cat into her inspiration for one of her works. Tell us more.
Yes, absolutely. Souris Cal, souris, of course, French for mouse, rather confusingly, is probably the most famous dead cat in France, if not the world, right now, I think it's fair to say. He shared his life with the artist Sophie Cal for 17 years, longer than many marriages, died 4 years ago and is now being, well, he's continuing to live on through his owner's art. She has created an exhibition that will run till just before the end of December.
Where can we see this if you want to go?
This is the Perrotin Galleries, and you will also, at this exhibition, including lots of photographs of the dead cat, not all of them when he was dead, I hasten to add, you will also be able to hear a complete album, because she has brought in all sorts of really big names from the music world to create nearly 40 songs. And it includes people like Michael Stipe of R.E.M., Bono, Pharrell Williams.
Big names.
Absolutely huge names. Jean-Michel Jarre, a much bigger name here in France, I think it's fair to say. Bono does a very strange kind of poem, an ode to the cat. We can take a little listen to that. It is a rather strange one.
Just as a raving madman, when nothing else can ease him, charges into his dark night howling.
So all of these things were written specifically for Souris the cat. Many of those taking part in making this album had actually met the cat. Others were just sent photographs so they could get the inspiration. And it's one that's really taken hold. Lots of people very interested in this particular project. France Inter has actually invited some of the French bands into the studios to record a live version. We've got a clip of
It's better and better.
Absolutely. I think this is probably my favourite one. We can take a look at this now.
Son nom de chat souris. Ce chat, ça va chez seul, souvent chez moi, autrement dit chez lui.
Fabulously French, I think you'll agree. And what she's trying to do is stop people frowning on those who actually are mourning the loss of a pet, because she says we share our lives with them, we miss them every bit as much as we do the humans that we lose.
Emma James with Media Watch, thank you very much.